Hi, everyone. Today I'm going to read you a story about one of my favorite musicians. Her name was Aretha Franklin. I first heard her music when I was a little girl. My mom loved her, and I have really happy memories of her dancing around our living room to one song in particular called Respect, which maybe you've heard of. Anyhow, let's learn about Aretha Franklin together. If there was someone in Detroit who was born to sing, it was little Aretha. Her mother was a gospel singer, and her father was a preacher who believed that music could move not just people's hearts, but the world. I believe that too. Her mom left when Aretha was very little, but she never felt alone. Home was always filled with musicians, and she learned to play the piano just by listening to them. She started singing in the gospel choir at the church where her father was a minister. Aretha's voice was so powerful and as smooth as silk. Listening to her, the whole congregation felt that tomorrow would be a brighter day. Convinced of her talent, Aretha's father took her on tour, and together they went from church to church. Wherever Aretha performed, she did it with such grace that people would cry with joy. But even though she loved gospel music, Aretha dreamed that her voice could be heard outside the church, in people's homes. So when a record company offered her a contract, she didn't have to think twice about it. Before long, Aretha's songs were climbing the charts. There was something magical in her voice that moved people's hearts and bodies, much like her most popular song. This is the one I was talking about. Respect. It was called Respect. And it was a song written by Otis Redding that sounded brand new in Aretha's voice. Suddenly, in the words of a tired working man, became an anthem for African American women demanding equal respect. One of Aretha's friends was Martin Luther King Jr., the great civil rights leader. She stood next to him, challenging people to raise their voices against racism. When he died, she sang the most beautiful song in his honor, Precious Lord. Aretha started writing her own songs and producing them too. She went from gospel to jazz to doo-wop and pop to rhythm and blues, singing every song from the bottom of her heart. She recorded hundreds of great hits, and she loved them all. Aretha used a secret recipe when writing her songs. They had to talk about everyday ups and downs. That's what soul was all about. How many of you watching this right now know what a record player is? Nowadays, everybody listens to their music on their phone or downloads it to their computer, but back when Aretha was recording, there were real records. That's what she's sitting next to. Maybe one of your parents might know what a record player looks like. It took Aretha 30 long years to be inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. She was the first woman in history to be on that list. Aretha was the queen of soul and a trailblazer for many other female artists. So that's Aretha Franklin and B.B. King, Elvis Presley, and Chuck Berry. Might be fun for you guys to look them up. But her greatest honor was singing at the inauguration of the first African American president of the United States. Aretha was voicing one of the most important moments in history. I remember that day. And no one has ever been able to sing a song quite like Aretha, the little girl who asked for equality and won the RESPECT, respect of millions, the greatest soul singer of all time. The end. If you'd like to stay for a moment, I'll read the author's notes, a little history of Aretha Franklin's life. She was born in 1942 and she died in 2018. Aretha Franklin was born in Memphis, Tennessee, into a musical family. The fourth of 5 children, Aretha understood the power of song at an early age, joining the congregation at her father's church in joyful gospel worship. She was soon a member of the choir. After her parents separated, she toured with her father's traveling gospel show. Aretha's childhood was not without pain and troubles. Her mother, Barbara, left the family when Aretha was only 6 years old and died soon afterward. Aretha became a mother herself when she was just a teenager, raising her children in Detroit, but she had dreams beyond the gospel band and wanted to share her music more widely as a pop singer. Aged 18, she left Detroit for the bright lights of New York City. There, she signed a record deal, creating a string of hits that redefined the world of rhythm and blues with her own style of soul music. Aretha's songs went on to become classics, written from the heart and sung with power and conviction. Aretha's chart dominance soon earned her the title the Queen of Soul. At the same time, she became a symbol of Black empowerment during the civil rights movement. Soul to me is a feeling, a lot of depth, being able to bring to the surface what's happening inside of me, Aretha said once. In 1987, she became the first female artist to be inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, paving the way for women of all backgrounds. In 2008, Aretha won her 18th Grammy Award, making her one of the most honored artists in history and a symbol of the world's respect. The end. If by any chance you guys don't know who Aretha Franklin is or you haven't heard her music, I hope somebody can find it for you on Spotify or Pandora, or maybe, as I said, your mom or dad or your grandparents might have one of her records to play for you because she's pretty amazing. And one of the things I love about Aretha's story is she was born into a regular family and she changed the world. Just goes to show each one of us has that possibility. Pretty exciting to think about. Anyhow, hope you love that story. Hope you find her music and you love it as much as I do. Have a great rest of the day. Come back so I can read to you some more soon. Bye for now.